Let's talk about the internet, a place where billionaires and ex-presidents don't just run companies or countries, but also seem to treat the world's biggest stage as their personal playground. Here, the lines between serious policy and pure spectacle blur in real time, and every tweet or post can spark a digital wildfire. It's a place where egos are as big as fortunes, and the drama never really stops. And sometimes, those billionaires and ex-presidents bicker like kids in a sandbox, each convinced they deserve the last word, or the last toy, or in this case, the last juice box. Except the juice box is actually billions in government subsidies, and the playground is the global economy. Our story starts with what might be the world's most boring topic: federal spending. The kind of thing that usually makes people's eyes glaze over, buried in endless paperwork and government files. But in June 2025, President Trump decided to make it headline news. He took to Truth Social, his favorite digital megaphone, to announce a crusade against wasteful government spending. His main target? Subsidies for electric vehicle companies, an industry that's become a political lightning rod. It was a classic Trump move, bold, brash, and aimed squarely at a familiar foe. He's never shied away from picking fights, especially when he thinks it'll score political points or rile up his base. And of course, Elon Musk, never one to let a public jab go unanswered, jumped into the fray. He fired back on X, the platform he now owns, with a flurry of posts and memes. Musk argued that the real waste wasn't in new technology but in propping up outdated industries. He painted himself as the visionary, building the future while others clung to the past. Normally, two ultra-wealthy men arguing over government money would barely register outside a few business columns. It's the kind of spat that happens all the time, mostly behind closed doors. But this wasn't just any argument. This was Trump and Musk, two of the most attention-grabbing figures on the planet. In the internet's attention economy, they're like twin suns, pulling everyone into their orbit. Their feud didn't just stay between them. It exploded across social media, pulling in everyone from cable news pundits to meme-loving teens, each adding their own spin, hot take, or joke to the mix. What started as a dry policy debate about government budgets and subsidies quickly mutated into something much stranger. A main event that felt more like a wrestling match than a political discussion. The internet, always hungry for drama, grabbed its popcorn and settled in, waiting for the next twist, the next meme, the next viral moment. The stage was set for an epic showdown, one that would be watched, dissected, and memed by millions. And in a world where attention is the ultimate currency, nobody was looking away, not for a second. On one side you have Donald Trump, never one to back down from a fight, quick to take offense, and always ready to air his grievances in public. He's not just President Donald Trump, he's a digital brawler, wielding his own social media platform like a weapon. With every post he rallies his loyal base, turning every slight into a headline and every criticism into a call to arms. Trump's online persona is larger than life and he knows how to command attention, whether he's celebrating a win or lashing out at perceived enemies. On the other, Elon Musk, the enigmatic billionaire, tech visionary, and self-proclaimed champion of free speech. Musk is no stranger to controversy, often tweeting late into the night, stirring up debates and challenging the status quo. He's built an empire on innovation, but his online presence is just as disruptive as his rockets and electric cars. Musk's followers see him as a maverick, unafraid to speak his mind or take on anyone, no matter how powerful. The initial spat over government subsidies was just the spark that ignited a much larger fire. What started as a pointed comment quickly escalated into a full-blown digital showdown, with both men trading barbs in front of millions. Trump posted again. Sleepy Elon is getting nervous. His car company is a house of cards, built on government handouts. Sad. The post was classic Trump, biting, dismissive, and designed to provoke a reaction. Musk shot back almost instantly. At least I build things. What have you built lately besides a bigger golf handicap? His reply was sharp, sarcastic, and perfectly tailored for his own legion of fans. Not content to let it end there, Musk added a poll. Who's the more effective leader? The guy who landed rockets on a boat, or the guy who bankrupted a casino? The internet couldn't resist, and thousands weighed in within minutes. The internet exploded. Hashtags like #TeamElon and #TeamTrump trended instantly, as users picked sides and memes flooded every corner of the web. It wasn't just a feud, it was a spectacle. News outlets jumped in, amplifying every exchange and dissecting every post. The feud was no longer about policy or business, it was about personality, ego, and who could dominate the digital stage. Each man's followers mobilized for digital war, flooding comment sections, launching meme offensives, and turning every thread into a battleground. The rivalry became a proxy war for their fans, who fought with GIFs, hashtags, and relentless commentary. The original disagreement faded into the background, replaced by a full-blown culture war. It was no longer about cars or casinos, it was about identity, loyalty, and the power of influence in the digital age. The escalation was rapid and relentless, notifications pinged non-stop, timelines filled with hot takes, and the digital noise grew louder by the hour. The circus had truly begun. The world watched, transfixed, as two of the most recognizable figures on the planet turned social media into their personal coliseum. The stakes were now personal. What started as a policy debate had morphed into a battle of pride, reputation, and digital dominance. And so, the battle lines were drawn. The digital battlefield was set, and the world braced for the next volley in this clash of titans. Just when you thought things couldn't get uglier, Musk hit the big red button. In a reply to a pro-Trump account, Musk posted, "At least I was never on a certain island. No names needed, everyone knew he meant Jeffrey Epstein." It was a digital sucker punch, dragging the feud into dark territory. The post went viral in minutes, the internet collectively gasping. Suddenly, this wasn't about cars or subsidies, it was about character, scandal, and conspiracy. News anchors dropped the jokes and got serious. Musk's move was risky, designed to inflict maximum damage. He'd escalated the conflict to a point of no return. The internet's fascination turned to obsession. The feud was now a national spectacle. Musk had unleashed his most dangerous weapon. The question, would it backfire? The stakes had never been higher. If Musk's island comment was a bomb, his next move was the fallout. He posted a photo Trump with Ghislaine Maxwell at Mar-a-Lago. No caption needed. The image did the talking. The photo, old but now weaponized, spread like wildfire. Supporters called it proof. Critics called it desperation. The feud's focus shifted entirely to Trump's associations. Cable news and YouTube deep dives dissected every pixel. Musk had changed the narrative with a single image, but he'd also cornered himself. There was no walking this back. The accusation was now public, visual, and impossible to ignore. Was this truth-telling or reckless ploy? The gambit was powerful and dangerous. The internet was hooked. Then, Musk blinked. In a moment that would soon be dissected by millions, he hesitated, just long enough for the world to notice. The internet, always watching, caught the pause. It was the digital equivalent of a gasp. The infamous photo post vanished. No explanation, just deleted. 1 second it was there, the next, gone. As if Musk hoped the world would simply forget. But nothing ever really disappears online. The self-proclaimed free speech absolutist was suddenly scrubbing his own timeline, erasing evidence with the urgency of someone who realized they'd gone too far. It was a move that seemed to contradict everything he'd preached about openness and transparency. Musk tried to backpedal. "To be clear, I'm not saying anyone is guilty." His words, hastily tweeted, felt like an attempt to rewrite the narrative in real time. Just that the optics aren't great. It was a rare admission that even he could see the storm brewing. He followed up. "Public figures are photographed with many people. The implication? Guilt by association is a dangerous game, and he wanted no part of it. A photo doesn't imply wrongdoing." The internet was baffled. Was this damage control or genuine regret? Musk had gone from attack dog to damage control in a matter of hours. The shift was whiplash-inducing, and everyone noticed. His supporters were confused. Critics called him a coward. Some wondered if he'd finally met a controversy too hot to handle. The toothpaste was out of the tube, and there was no putting it back. The controversy had taken on a life of its own. Musk was left scrambling, trying to mop up the mess. But every attempt to clarify only seemed to make things worse. His attempt to de-escalate only fueled more speculation. The comment sections exploded, each theory wilder than the last. The story was no longer about Trump. Suddenly, all eyes were on Musk. The narrative had shifted, and he was now the main character in a drama he never intended to star in. It was about Musk's retreat, his sudden vulnerability. The man who once thrived in chaos now seemed desperate to escape it. His epic backpedal became a meme in itself, spreading across platforms as users mocked his reversal. The digital warrior looked suddenly vulnerable, his armor of bravado cracked for all to see. The storm he'd unleashed was now out of his control. The internet smelled blood, and the feeding frenzy had begun, and the saga only grew stranger, as Musk tumbled further down the rabbit hole of internet chaos, with no clear way out in sight. The internet did what it does best. It turned chaos into content. Meme accounts churned out endless edits. Musk and Trump as Street Fighter characters, as sandbox kids, as dueling wizards. Politicians jumped in, picking sides for political gain. Democrats, usually Musk critics, cheered him on. Republicans rallied around Trump, calling for Tesla boycotts. Every platform was flooded with debate, memes, and popcorn emojis. The feud became the biggest show on Earth. The public wasn't just watching, they were participating, fanning the flames. The lines between news and entertainment vanished. The spectacle was unstoppable. While Musk scrambled, Trump waited. He let Musk's regrets simmer, then struck with a single, brutal Truth Social post. Rocket Man is in a lot of trouble. He made up a sick lie, then deleted it because he knows he'd be sued into oblivion. Weak and pathetic. Trump didn't deny, he dismissed, reframed, and threatened legal action. The focus shifted. Musk's deletion was now the story. Trump's supporters pounced, #Elon is scared trended. Trump's timing was perfect. He let Musk self-destruct, then delivered the knockout blow. The art of the digital deal, know when to strike. Musk improvised, Trump calculated. The narrative was Trump's again. The internet loves a comeback. And Trump had seized the moment. The feud's momentum had shifted. As the dust settled, the digital wreckage was clear. Musk's credibility took the biggest hit. His attack, then retreat, made him look reckless and weak. His image as a fearless maverick was tarnished. The episode exposed the dangers of impulsive power on social media. Trump emerged as the tactical victor, but the Epstein association lingered. The internet never forgets. The damage was permanent. A spat over subsidies had become a global spectacle of ego, accusation, and chaos. The feud showed how a single online fight can spiral into a cultural event. No one looked good, but everyone was watching. Welcome to the age of digital chaos. What did we learn? When titans clash online, the world gets a front-row seat to the circus. Serious debate is lost to spectacle and drama. Musk's gamble backfired, proving some digital weapons are too dangerous to wield. The genie never goes back in the bottle. The whims of a few can set the world's agenda with a single post. Their games have real consequences for everyone else. The Musk-Trump feud was pure internet chaos, dramatic, silly, and revealing. It exposed egos, strategies, and vulnerabilities. Most of all, it showed us a world where the biggest battles are fought in 280 characters, with truth as the casualty. And that's something worth thinking about.